Hello and welcome back to Adventurous Way. We have been on the property now for about 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks in fact, and a lot has happened here. As you can see, it's snowing right now and everything is covered in snow. That wasn't the case just a couple of hours ago. This snow has all fallen this morning. Literally 3 hours ago, the driveway was completely cleared of snow. This whole area by the RV here was just the bare wood chips. And we spent the last 2 weeks kind of getting settled in, getting things set up. We have our solar panels deployed. You can see those on the ground behind me here. We've got the generators up and running. We find that running one of those for a couple of hours each morning works really well for us. We have enough batteries that even with the propane furnace running quite a lot, the fan on there still requires power. Even with the Norcold cold weather kit running, we can comfortably make it through 24 hours with just the batteries. After that, the batteries are usually down to somewhere around 50%, and then we can run the generator for a couple of hours each day just to get the batteries charged up. We've got someone in who is visiting about once a week to empty the black tank and the grey tank for us. A few people asked how we're managing tanks, so that's how we're doing that. We do have a backup of a sort of a septic bladder that we can fill with a macerator pump if we want to. We can go and dump that at a nearby RV park or something else. In terms of water, we have a bladder that we're filling up from a neighbour's house. We've done that twice so far. That's working out really well. It's a bit slow, but we expected that. As you can see, there is a lot of snow here, and it's due to snow all day long. We're expecting somewhere around 5 to 10 inches of snow today. So this nice driveway that we'd cleared out of all the snow with the tractor, this is going to be snowy again. But the weather forecast for the next week is we have highs up as high as 60 degrees actually next week. So we're hoping this snow won't last too long. But today, rather than wasting the day, I'm heading up to do some projects in the shipping container. So I have my cup of tea, my bag of batteries, and we're gonna do a few little projects in the shipping container. Just while I pass by here though, here is our sawmill. You can see we've got it covered up right now. And behind there we've got the composter that we bought, just so we can compost all of our kitchen scraps. And then the tractor. A few people said to us when we bought the tractor, you should really buy one with a cab. You will really appreciate it in winter. I can say that would be nice. There are times I've been on the tractor and it's been really cold and I've thought, yeah, a cab would be nice. A heated cab would be really nice right now. But it would have been a lot of extra cost and it honestly wasn't that bad. I'm standing out here now in the snow and it's actually quite warm here. It's, I realise that's a strange thing to say when it's snowing, but it's actually above freezing. It's about 33 degrees here right now. And so yeah, a cab would be nice on the tractor, but I wouldn't say it's essential. We're surviving so far, so fingers crossed it stays that way. But we have been making some changes to the tractor. So the first, as you can see on the back there, we've got the tyre chains. And if I come in a little bit closer, you can see we've got these European style tractor chains on the rear wheels. And to get those on, we had to install this wheel spacer that you can see there. So that's a 3-inch aluminum borer wheel spacer. And that makes a really big difference to the tractor in the snow. And the ice in particular. These are some pretty brutal studs that we've got on the tyre now, and that makes a big difference to the traction. So really happy with that. The other big change is this on the back. This is our new Woodland Mills WC68 wood chipper. So it's powered by the tractor, the PTO on the back. You'll remember from some of our earlier videos, we did a lot of wood chipping last year with a rented wood chipper. That thing was expensive. We were paying about $200 each day to rent that, and that was adding up pretty fast. But we did really like the wood chips that we're able to produce with that. So we thought about it and we decided to buy our own. Now this one isn't quite as powerful as the 9-inch wood chipper that we were renting, but it does have an intake feed of about 6 inches. It can take 6 to 8 inch material. On our tractor it'll be a little bit slower taking that big stuff, but honestly we don't have a lot that's that big. A lot of what we're going to be putting through is just treetops and branches and things, rather than some of the bigger logs that we were putting through last year. So about a week ago I drove all the way to Buffalo, New York to go and collect this. Rather than dealing with delivery trucks down the unpaved road here in winter, it was just easier for me to go and collect it. Brought it back here, and then a few days ago I went through and I assembled it, and mounted it on the back of the tractor. It's folded up right now, but that section at the back there kind of folds back, and that's then the intake chute. And we're going to be using this. We've got about an acre of trees to clear, and this wood chip will be really useful for that. So yeah, happy we've got this one. And then up here behind me, you can see our shipping container, and that's where I'm going to be working today. So my goal for the day is just to work on a few little projects inside there where it's dry. It will be a little bit more protected from the elements, and there's a few things that we want to get done inside the shipping container. This shipping container is a bit like a sanctuary for us. It is a 40-foot container that we had delivered here last year, and it's been working really well for us as secure dry storage. This winter we stored both our sawmill and the tractor inside here, and one of the first jobs we did was to get those out of the shipping container and free up the space again, because we needed this space as really useful storage space for tools, but also for materials. Some of the things that we've got from the heated storage unit we've now brought over here where we can get to them more regularly. We're not keeping batteries inside here. We're keeping all those down in the RV where it's warmer and where we can charge them. We don't have any power up here. So we do have a generator. So one of the 2 generators we bought, we've got up here. So if I do need power, I can get power. But nearly all of our tools are cordless. And so we're able to charge the batteries down at the RV, bring them up here and work up here with them. So let me give you a bit of a tour around the shipping container, because a lot has changed in here in the last 2 weeks. So the first and most obvious thing you're going to see is we've got a ton of lumber over here. This is all from pallets. So we found some free pallets on Craigslist, and I've been able to disassemble those and just strip them down into kind of their bare parts. And I'm using it to make little projects like this down here. This is just a box I quickly threw together. And we can use that for storing anything from kind of firewood if we want to move it down to the RV. We can use it to store some of our wood scraps in there. We can use it to put tools in to move them around, recycling that we're storing. Having a load of lumber like that for these rough projects is really useful. And you may be wondering, why are we getting pallet lumber when we have a lumber mill and we can mill our own? Well, I refer you to Exhibit A, the snow behind us here. Right now, that lumber is that we milled last year is still under snow. It's up there on the pile. We are saving that for our solar kiln. So if we wanted to get more lumber, we would have to mill it. We haven't yet felled more trees. The log pile is still under snow. It will be another couple of weeks before we start milling lumber. And even when we do, that's still green lumber. It's not dried. And so pallet wood is just a great source of dried lumber. It's free. Everywhere that we've picked up from so far has been free. We're making sure to only pick out heat treated stuff. So there's no chemicals involved in its use. We're picking clean pallets. And honestly, they've been in really good condition. And as you can see from this box down here, like the wood is pretty good quality. Like it's not perfect. It's got some dings. I don't think we're going to be using pallet wood for interior furniture or anything like that. That's not the aesthetic we're going for. But these kind of workshop, like just sort of rough projects, it's really useful for. It's also a really good way of testing out some of our tools, which I'll get onto in a minute, because if we make a mistake on one of these projects, it doesn't matter. The lumber was free. We've not really lost anything. In terms of the lumber pile itself, this little shelving system, this steel rack that we've got it on, is actually the cage, the pallet kind of steel crate that the wood chipper for the tractor came in. And so we've been able to repurpose that here just to store all of that lumber. So I mentioned tools just there, and as we come back into the storage unit, you can see, or the shipping container, you can see there's a ton of tools in here. Over the winter, we have been buying tools when we find them on offer. So particularly DeWalt tools, we've invested in the DeWalt battery system, and we have been really trying to find good tools on offer at Home Depot, at Lowe's, online, anywhere else. And this winter we've picked up quite a few tools. Honestly, some of them that we won't need for a little while yet, but we will eventually. And one of the reasons we're doing that is because we know we will need the tools. Could we work around not having some of them? Are some of them a bit of a luxury to have? Probably yes, but one of the things that I've learned over the years from when I've done woodworking before or other kind of making projects before, having the right tools is usually, you get a better job done, you get it done faster, and oftentimes you get it done more safely. Trying to use the wrong tool for a job can often be quite an unsafe idea. So we've tried to make sure we've got the right tools here. There are still some tools missing. We haven't got nail guns and things like that we're going to need, but we've got a load of good tools that we've picked up from Home Depot, and we've been storing those predominantly on the storage rack over there. The one exception to that is this one here. This is mounted sideways right now, but this is our double bevel sliding compound miter saw. It is an absolute beast of a saw. It's also entirely battery powered. Believe it or not, this thing, you can see here, it takes 2 of the Flex Volt batteries, and that is enough to power this saw, and this is more powerful than the old DeWalt corded miter saw that I used to own. I've been using it a few times on some of these projects, and this thing is an absolute beast. We've got it mounted on a stand with wheels on the bottom, so we can easily move that around if we need to. Really, really impressed with that thing so far. Most of our tools, though, are stored over here on this shelving. So we bought these steel shelves. Again, we didn't have lumber dried and ready yet to build our own. Possibly could have done it out of pallets, but this was just a quick way to get up and running. So we picked up these steel shelves at Home Depot, and this is now home to a load of our power tools here. And then up at that end, we've got our fasteners and more of our parts, if you like. Still some more sorting to be done here, but this is kind of where we're getting to at the moment. You can see back there, we've got a ton of just boxes and kind of things to still sort out. Most of those boxes are empty, or they just have more cardboard inside. We're holding on to those for now because cardboard is something that we can use either in some of our composting, we can use it for storage for like more boxes and things like that, or we can ultimately recycle it if we need to. We can also burn it. Once we start doing campfires, we can use it for burning as well. So that's kind of where we're up to so far. What about today's project? Well, these red shelves are great. We bought those last weekend and we really like them. Knowing that the forecast today was all snow, we decided to find another project we could do here inside the shipping container. And you may have noticed when I came in, there's another box down there containing more steel shelves. So the plan for today is to assemble those shelves and put them over in this space here. Now, the shelves can come in 2 configurations, or you can choose as you assemble them which configuration you want. You can do it like we've done here. So you can have 2 kind of short shelving units, and then you get sort of a usable workspace area on top, and it's wider. Or you can stack these one on top of the other and have a kind of a 6 foot, I think it's about 6'6", high shelving unit. Diana would like this next set of shelving unit, or this next set of shelves, to be full height rather than the 2 lower ones like this. I'm a little nervous about that because it's probably hard to tell on the camera, but it's not completely flat in here. Or I should say not completely level. There is a bit of a slope from the back to the front of the shipping container. And I'm a little nervous that having a 6.5 foot high shelving unit on a slightly sloping floor may not be the safest. If we do that, we'll certainly only put light things up top. We can't anchor the shelves to the wall behind, which you'd normally do because it's a rented shipping container, so we can't start bolting things to the wall in here. So I'm going to assemble it as a 6.5 foot high shelving unit. I will then call the inspector, Diana, to come up and take a look. We'll then make a decision, do we want to keep it high or split it into 2 lower units? If we decide to split it, I can do that. And then Diana is going to help me sort everything out on there. On these shelves here, we put the OSB down. This is actually the Advantech that we had left over from the solar kiln floor assembly. It was the perfect size to fit on these shelves. It's not screwed down or anything, it's just sitting on there. We have, however, used all the parts we had, all the offcuts we had. So the new shelves that we build over here, we won't have the OSB for. It'll just be the wireframe shelves. I'm still really excited. I think this is going to give us a huge amount of really usable space and hopefully clear up some of this mess. We're also trying to keep this area a little bit clear so that we can bring things in and out of here as we need to. If I get done with that today and we get everything sorted in time, I might work on a new pallet project today. I'm not quite sure what I'll build. It's just a bit of fun. We're trying to have a bit of a day off at the weekends. It's Saturday today. And normally we'd go out and we'd explore somewhere, but with this big storm, we don't really want to be on the roads today. It's probably not the safest place or time to be driving. so we've got the first level kind of assembled, the bottom half, if you like, of this, with the 3 shelves on. As you can see, this is really easy to put together. It's an almost toolless design. The only tool I used was the rubber mallet, which is actually one of the things that we got out of our storage unit down in Texas. So already putting that to use. Goes together really quickly. The shelves have little hooks underneath that sort of hook them down to the supports. And yeah, it's just held together really by gravity. I'm going to put the next layer on top now. That'll bring it up to its full 6.5 foot height. And then I'll give Diana a call to come up and see what she thinks. I'm still skeptical. I still think that this slightly lower option will work better. But hey, we'll see what Diana says. To give you an idea of how much slope there is on these shelves, this level here is plumb. This is true vertical. So you can see there's a decent bit of lean on these shelves. That said, they feel pretty sturdy. They're pretty strong. And even though these aren't the heavy duty shelves that can take like insane amounts of weight, I think these are rated for like 5,000 pounds total or something. We're not going to be loading with anything like that. It's mainly going to be boxes, possibly some tools. Anything that is heavy, we can put low down anyway. So I'm actually leaning towards this might be okay. If all we put on the top shelf is just some cardboard and things, keeping the lighter things up here and then heavier as we go down, it might work. And even though that's a good amount of lean, I think it'll be okay. But we'll see what Diana says.
Today we have been getting a lot of snow. It was clean ground here in the morning, and this is how much snow it has snowed in today since about like 9-10 o'clock. So now let's clear a little bit of snow. It feels like Christmas, but it is March.
Okay, the inspector is here to see what she thinks of the shelves. So this is full height.
Okay.
It is quite off level. So level would be about there.
Okay.
So the bottom is out, what, 5 inches or so?
Yeah.
But they feel pretty solid.
I mean, having them higher up would definitely
Gives us more usable space.
Yeah, more usable space.
If we did start to stack it, I did have a secret cunning plan.
Hmm.
We have got these hooks up at the top. And one thing I could probably do is put a ratchet strap through the holes there up to that hook, and that would kind of just hold it that way.
That's a good idea.
So then there's never a chance of it falling forward or kind of tipping. I don't think it's going to tip forward because there's no lean this way. We're actually very level side to side. It's just front to back that it's off.
Okay.
So, what is your decision?
I think let's keep it high, because that means we can actually use that top space for very light stuff. Otherwise
some of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You're gonna reorganize stuff, or do you want my help?
I'll start.
Cool. In that case, I'm gonna get on to a pallet project.
So I have put more stuff on this tall shelving, and now it's definitely much tidier in the shipping container. We have more space. It's roughly sorted in themes, kind of like RV related stuff, property related stuff, of kind of boxes of separated recycling, and then up top it's kind of packaging boxes, super light. Eventually, when we're happy that we're not going to exchange or bring back generators or whatever, we'll break them down, but they're fine there for now. And then in the back here we have a bunch of empty boxes so we can use to store things, and a bunch of Ziploc bags and smaller containers so that we can keep everything nice and organized.
While Dinah has been working on the storage, the shelving up there, meanwhile I was working on a pallet project. So this is nothing fancy. It's a little workbench or table that I've sort of thrown together. The idea is that having kind of countertop high space would be really nice right now for like putting tools on, for working on, laying things out on, organizing things on. And although we've got some with the shelving, we've kind of covered it in stuff already. So maybe this one we won't instantly cover with things. We can keep it as a kind of a workbench. It's only small. I just found some images online for pallet workbenches that I kind of like the look of. I'm not going off any particular design. I'm just kind of improvising as I go, making up the dimensions, really just to work with the lumber that I've got. So you can see where I've got to so far with this frame, using some of the thicker 2x4s for the legs and some cross supports. It'll have a shelf across the bottom and then a workbench surface on top. Meanwhile, outside, it is really snowing. I think we've got maybe about 4 inches of snow already. You can see the snow is really coming down here, and you can see it kind of invading our shipping container down there as well. I think we've had, like I say, about 4 inches of snow. It's only about, what time is it? It is about 2:30 in the afternoon here, and I think it's due to snow for about another 3 or 4 hours. All told, I think we're going to get somewhere around 5-6 inches maybe, which was at the lower end of the estimates that they thought. Hopefully our ploughing guy turns up either later on today or tomorrow morning and ploughs some of this snow out of the way and re-clears the driveway. So I'm going to get back inside of this shipping container where I'm a little bit more protected and finish off my table. There we go, this project is all done. I think the battery on the camera may have died during the time lapse, so that putting that together, putting the top on. But here it is. This is the little workbench table thing that I've made. It's about 4 feet long, about 15 inches deep, and about 3 foot tall. So it's just a really nice height for popping things on, for working on, and hopefully it'll just give us a little bit more usable space.